where do the money lie? Hunt for the color. Okay, so everybody at the end of the day works for money, and I think that would be an interesting panel discussion to, at least I'm looking forward for. So we'll bring right now for tea. We'll meet back over here. The other room is also closed. Everybody will be coming back to this room in post-tea session. In the meantime, if you have any feedback, please feel to drop the feedback at the registration desk, and we'll see you all at the tea and come back here in 20 minutes. Thank you. You are taken benefit of the tea and lunch break for networking and meeting folks around. As the day has progressed, we have talked upon what was the industry 5 years back or 10 years back, and what are the challenges faced today, its application. I think all of us understand how the applications are developed and what are the challenges involved in developing them. But how many of us understand what is the revenue model of an application? Nobody around? What are we working for? You're working for App Store? So who pays us the money? End user pays us money. And why do they pay us money? Because the application is challenging, or they find it interesting for themselves, or it's useful to them. Okay. So the interesting aspect that we found while developing this, while organizing this event, that majority of us lack the information. Once we develop application, how do we monetize it? That's where we need people like Edwin to come and share thought on. From the time we ideate a product, how do we go market it and get revenue out of that? So our next talk is on a changing paradigm in mobile application space from Edwin. He's a senior vice president of Telecom, where he is doing tons of job. He has a wealth of experience and deep knowledge in growing a global business and more than doubling sales and profitability. He had prior engagement with Saskin, where he holds several key positions. He holds a Bachelor of Engineering degree and is an alumni of IIM Ahmedabad. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome me in requesting Edwin for the next talk.
Good afternoon, people. Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. That's very nice. Thank you very much for the opportunity to spend a little time with you and share with you some insights that hopefully will enable you to be successful. Who knows? Sitting in the group over here is probably somebody who's going to be a future Google, somebody who's going to be a future Facebook, or what's the latest buzz guys who are making tons of money, or trying to make tons of money. But it certainly is a pleasure to be with you and share with you some perspectives that I carry. I think it's very well articulated by the gentleman who did introduce me. There's a lot of pride in being technical. A few of the guys in this room that used to work for me in my previous roles, and they would tell you that I always told them that if you couldn't talk technology, understand technology, code a bit, even no matter how high you go in an organization, then you don't have no right to be in the space. So there is certainly a lot of pride in saying that we're technical people. But I think whether you consider technology to be a hobby, or whether you consider technology to be a business, either way, the reality of life is you need money to fund either that hobby or that business. Is that right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So then I think the key thing to keep in mind is what one of my favorite thinkers in the world, called Peter Drucker, says. He says the purpose of business is to create a customer. Man, across his long history of last many years, millions of years, has constantly evolved found and conquered new frontiers because he's found a way to translate and transform his ideas into some monetary value. One of my favorite companies I worked for was Saskin, and joined them sometime in the late 90s. And I liked it because Saskin used to be a startup company. I just met a young man, probably an alumni of IIT, who told me that, was telling me that it used to be a dream job for the guys in the IIT to get the first day interviews with Saskin. And what I liked about it was a large enough company, but it had a startup mind. Suddenly somebody would come and say, hey, you know what, why don't we build a third generation protocol? And somebody would ask, what the heck is that? And another person would say, I don't know, but it seems interesting, let's do it. And we went through a phase, not just in that company, but many companies around the world, where we believed for a long time in our lives that if we created the right technology and the right solution, customers would line up outside the door with token numbers and would kill each other to buy our product. That couldn't have been a more naive view of the real world, am I right? Yes? But let me tell you, it was good while that thought lasted, because it was an idealistic phase of life where all you focused on was creating the next big thing in the world. Why am I here? What gives me the right to take your time? Few things. Number one, I've been a part of this industry for a long time, seen the way it's evolved. Two, with all humility, I have the good fortune of meeting with people who are thought leaders in the space. Till a couple of years back, it was very limited to the devices in the service provider space. For the last couple of years, that space has dramatically changed in its definition. It includes people who are in the broadcasting space. It's nice to sit down and talk to a Rupert Murdoch and understand his perspective of what's happening here. Or it's nice to go and sit with a guy who's the top guy of Sky TV and understand how is he looking at the changing world. Or to go and sit down with somebody who heads strategy in not LG Mobile but LG Corporation, whose biggest problem in life is that they believe that in a normal American home you have 43 devices. They believe that in a good market, more than 70% of those devices carry an LG logo. But the biggest tragedy they feel in life is they haven't found a way to link these devices to generate revenue for themselves. It's nice to go sit down with the guys in the operator space and see the guys ranging from people who believe they have clarity to people who are totally confused. It's nice to go sit down with one of the large operators in Europe and ask them, why the heck are you embracing LTE as a technology? And he says, well, that's because we are late on the third generation, so we need to be first on LTE. Yeah, but why are you doing it? Because I don't want to be late. But what are you going to do with LTE? He says, they'll think about that later. So that's my second credential as to why I'm here. The third credential as to why I'm here is a little selfish, and that selfishness is, as you get older in life, maybe one way to keep younger is to rub shoulders with people like you. 26-something, 28-something, with an idealistic view of life. And history has shown us that wealth of innovation and breakthrough ideas comes from people like you. That's why I'm here. Let's spend the next 20-25 minutes sharing with you some perspectives. What is this slide going to be? I've always told people working with me, whether it be in life or whether it be in marriage, better to under-promise and over-deliver than the other way around. So I'm not here to give you answers to questions. Because right now where the market is, as you will see in the next few slides. Now how many of you watch cricket, guys? Pretty good. I mean, there's a good enough number of how many people watch cricket. But today the best way for me to describe this market space is the pitch of Firusha Kotla that the India and Sri Lanka cricket played just recently. In the first few overs, everything seems normal. Predictable bounce, predictable swing, everything is predictable.